Hi everybody, welcome back, and today I'm going to try to troubleshoot our problem here. We had some issues with the setworks on the last videos you've seen. So I'm just back here looking at my hydraulic system, and I have a suspicion. Now I do have a flow control in here that I had to slow that oil down a little bit because it was too fast on the carriage. But if you own an Edmonston mill, right at the bottom of the return line here is this little flared out piece of pipe here. So they got it from, looks like 3/4 inch, and they're going up to maybe 1.25 inch, and there's supposed to be a strainer of some sorts in there. I think I might have a restriction going on there. So we're going to go up top of the pantograph arm. We're going to take loose the line so it can bleed out a little bit, and then we're going to drain this line down. We're going to open up this can here, and we're going to see if we got restrictions, because the way the system works, they have a dumping valve on the solenoid on the carriage itself. So anytime you hit a function on that button, what it does is it closes a valve so it can create pressure, and when it's not being used, it dumps the excess of oil off, and it acts like a power beyond is exactly what they have done with just an extra valve. So if there's back pressure on it, it can cause you all kinds of grief. So let's just go ahead and let's tear this thing apart. All right, I got the whole pipe off of here, and see if I can put you somewhere where you can see what the heck's going on here. And got everything nice and loose for you. And they said there was a strainer in here, and there was a strainer in here. So this basically just catches all the bigger micron stuff, and I'm just going to go ahead and spray this off with some cleaner. Everything looks really good. Can blow right through it. It's not restricted at all, so that eliminates one of the problems. So next problem, we're going to take a look over here at the tank again. And troubleshooting sometimes can be annoying, but what I had done when I first fired this mill up is I had put this flow control in, and basically it slows down the oil flow so that everything is not running up to the carriage at full speed, because it was too erratic. So I'm going to play with different flow. Then also I could have a little bit of return block. I might change that filter out. That hasn't been changed for a while. So it could be something as simple as a oil filter that is kind of plugged up, and we're just going to keep plugging away here, and we're going to go over to the valve bank and make sure that there's no loose connections. But when I was filming the video, I noticed when I was editing, I could see the hydraulic hoses vibrate every time I was hitting that button. So it means it was definitely trying to open the valve. So we're going to go ahead and get that cleaned up. We'll put this all back together, and we'll take a look at the valves on the carriage. All right, over at the carriage side here, and this Yukon valve right here is what runs the motor, and inside of here is the hydraulic motor that runs the set shaft. So basically this is what we're controlling here through electric. So everything in here checked out. There's no wiring issues. It's getting voltage. I didn't show you all that. Now over here underneath this mess here, this is the dumping valve right here. This first valve right here. This is the valve that basically has to close every time another valve opens and create pressure. Otherwise, the hydraulic is coming down through the valve block and back through the return. So it makes a loop with no resistance. So when you call for any function, far as to set a dog, move the set shaft, whatever you want to do, the same time you hit that button, this valve has to close at the same time the other valve opens in order to create a power beyond situation. So don't know if this might end up being a culprit in the end, but really there's no other problems, no other functions that are causing us any grief. So we just keep these pieces of canvas over top of them. We never had the real covers for it when we bought this mill. I'm sure I could make something out of metal. I could do 1,000 things. That's not the issue here right now. But anyhow, I'm not seeing nothing obvious here. I'm not seeing nothing blowing hydraulic oil. So next thing I'm going to play with is that flow control on the pump over there. So we'll go ahead and get everything fired up here and see if we can adjust some flows and see if this works better or not. So let's just play with that. Okay, we got everything running here. I normally keep this set on 4. That's slower and this is faster. You can actually hear the motor bog down when you try to slow it down. So I'm going to go up to about 6 this time and see if that problem exists. So you go back up in the cab here, because I know it was really too quick for me when we first installed this mill. So basically I got a power supply here. So let's bring the carriage down. In fact, I'm going to run this in reverse. I can notice how much faster it moves already. If I could get used to running it this way, would be great, but I don't know if I could fine tune it as good. So let's just see it. Forward jog. See, now it's doing what it should right now. We're not at full rev, so we're going to bring it at full rev. I'm going to show you guys what this thing can really do. It's almost scary how fast it moves. And let's see, the dogs will be real fast now too. If you were wondering why the dogs were so slow. So let me go out and rev this thing up. And let's do some experimentation here. And it might have been nothing more than too low of a flow, and it was causing that valve not wanting to fully open on me or close on me, depending on which way I needed it to go. So be with you here when we rev her up. All right, we're at full rev where we are when we saw every time. So it's a little noisy. Hope you can hear me. If not, I'm sorry. So let's just try to fine tune it here. I'm trying to hold the camera up there. Well, that works better than it's ever worked. Maybe I'm just running the mill so much more, but look how fast them knees move now. So I might have just had it choked down just a little bit too slow. And I like when problems like that are the case. Yeah, I can be real accurate on that too. Oh yeah. I'm liking this. I can go 1/16 of an inch at a time. So, and also I cleaned out that little filter there. So the little filter that sits out there is now absolutely perfectly clean. So, but that valve only controls anything on the carriage. So watch when I hit a set. Beautiful. Well, I think we might have you can hear them dogs clacking out there. I like it. So don't see no function problems. I think we're going to call this a win, everybody. So I'm going to just say I want to get on 19.5. I can accomplish that very easily. Well, there you go. I thought we had something major going on here, and nothing more than maybe clean that filter, increasing the oil flow a little bit. We'll run it this way for a while. Your Friday video will not have this improvement made, so I was still fighting the problem. I'll show you the log deck. It makes no difference on my speed of anything out there, because this is the way this always worked. The arms always were fast. That's on a whole separate circuit, so everything you've seen done here today is just all my Carriage stuff. So hey, thanks for coming along, and I'll bring you along on more maintenance and troubleshooting videos. Sometimes you just got to dig into things and figure it out. So hey, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.